Hey everybody, I hope you all are doing well. So today I'll be starting off with the complete organic chemistry worksheet, which is very important to do before your Cambridge International examination, because I have made this worksheet in such a manner that it will revise all the concepts of organic chemistry for you guys, and it is made from the past paper questions, right? And it is very important to revise your organic chemistry because it is a major part of your CIE, right? And one thing to note is that I might take a marathon class sooner or later before your examination to solve this entire worksheet with you guys one day before the paper. But I also thought to myself, Kia, it'll be better to just upload such solutions for you guys so you can watch it at your convenience instead of sitting there and watching the entire worksheet one day before the paper. Because I feel like, in my opinion, you should be revising concepts one day before the paper rather than solving past paper questions, right? But this particular worksheet, this complete organic chemistry worksheet, will revise all the questions, because in my opinion I've added such questions that are going to beautifully recall each and every concept of organic chemistry, right? That's going to make you think like an organic chemist, right? So without further ado, let's start solving these questions. Now it says choose from the following compounds to answer these questions, and you're given certain compounds and you have to choose from them. Each compound may be used once, more than once, or not at all, so you can choose from them to answer these particular questions. Now, the way to go about these questions is that you all need to start by looking at the families present, right, or the functional groups present. So if you check compound number A, it has the OH bond, which means that it is an alcohol. You just have to annotate it, right? So that's the alcohol. This is a saturated hydrocarbon, so I can safely say that's my alkane. Then you have COOH, right here, the COOH bond, right? So that's basically my carboxylic acid functional group. And here you have like your CC double bond, which is basically telling me that it's an alkene. That's the family. This is meth eth pro but I don't want to name it as of now, right? I just want to see which families are present, right? So that is again an alkane because it's a saturated hydrocarbon. And here, if you check this out, this is very beautifully made. This has the COOH group of atoms, and it also has the OH group of atoms. So it has both the alcohol and the carboxylic acid, right? So you have to keep this in mind. It has alcohol, so it's going to undergo all the reactions that alcohols undergo, and it has the acid group, so it's going to undergo all the reactions that an acid undergoes, right? The carboxylic acid. And check this out. This is my beautiful ester. I don't want to name it. Nobody cares. This is my ester linkage, the carbonyl carbon single bonded to O. And if you want to name it, you can, right? So it's meth eth probe. This came from the acid, so therefore it will be called propanoate, and this is meth eth probe. This came from the alcohol, therefore it will be called propyl. So propyl, propanoate. This was made from the propanoic acid, and this came from propanol. Now state which compound has a molecule with 14 atoms. Now in order to solve this, what you could do is you could either do donkey work, that is counting all the atoms of each compound. Just waste your time. Rather, what I can do is I know which families all of these belong to, so I can start writing their molecular formulas, right? So it is a 3-carbon alcohol, therefore I know that I can write the molecular formula just by keeping in mind the general formula for alcohols, which is CnH2n plus 1 OH. So if you have 3 carbon alcohol, it will have 7 hydrogens, because hydrogen will be twice the number of that plus 1 OH, right? So this is not 14 atoms, these are like 12 atoms. Then again, you have an alkane, it's a 3-carbon alkane, so it's propane, C3H8. Similarly, carboxylic acid, a 3-carbon carboxylic acid, so C2H5COOH. I'm just using the general formula to make the molecular formulas, right? To write down the molecular formulas. Now here you have 4 carbons and it's an alkene. So a 4-carbon alkene is basically my butene. But who cares? I'm not going to name it. I just want to write the molecular formula. So because it's bute has 4 carbons, and hydrogens should be twice the number of that because it's an alkene. It's CnH2n. Similarly, you have an alkane. It's a 4-carbon alkane. So 4 carbon means C4, and H should be twice the number of that plus 2, which is 10. And yes, this particular compound has 14 atoms. So rather than counting it, I could simply just write the molecular formulas and get my answer. So it has a molecule with only 14 carbon atoms. That's my compound E. And it says it can be oxidized to form propanoic acid. So if it is forming propanoic acid, it's forming an acid, and it says it's a compound that can be oxidized. So which compound oxidizes to form an acid? Obviously, this is your alcohol. We know that alcohol are oxidized. It's either bacterial oxidation, also called acid fermentation, and you could also call it like, it can also take place in the industry by using your oxidizing agent, which is acidified aqueous potassium manganate, right? And it'll give you a color change from purple to colorless. So if it's an alcohol, you go and check in the table, where do you have alcohols? Now, you have an alcohol here and you have an alcohol right here, but it says it forms propanoic acid. Prop means a 3-carbon acid, so it must be a 3-carbon alcohol to give you 3-carbon acid, and voila, it's meth, eth, prop. That's a 3-carbon alcohol, so it should be your compound A. This is an isomer of butane. So if it's an isomer of butane, butane is C4H10. Check this out. Isomers are what? Isomers are compounds with the same molecular formula but different structural formula. So check which compound has C4H10 in it. Obviously that's E right here, so I'm going to plug that in. That's my beautiful E, right? I don't want to even look at the names, right? It's no use for us. If you want to check the names, you select the longest carbon chain, start numbering from the side where the alkyl group is the closest for alkane. So it's meth, eth, prop. So your second carbon has the methyl group, so it's called 2-methyl meth, eth, prop, 2-methyl propane. But who cares? And it says reacts with steam to make alcohol. Now, which particular compound reacts with steam to make alcohol? It must be an alkene, right? And steam is the reagent, and you use certain conditions, which is you provide it with a catalyst, that is acidified aqueous phosphoric acid. Now in your course you can just write an acid, but it's better to name it. Nobody cares, right? You can name it acidified aqueous phosphoric acid, or you could just write an acid, and you have to provide a temperature of 300 degrees Celsius and a pressure up to 60 atmospheres. Okay, great. So it says this reacts with steam to make alcohol, must be an alkene. Check this out. Where do you have an alkene? It's only D, so we're going to write a D where we know. This is can be polymerized to make a polyester. It can be polymerized. Which particular compound can be polymerized to make a polyester? Most of you might even think G. G is already an ester. It cannot be polymerized to make a polyester, right? Because you need to understand, how do you get a polyester? You get it when an alcohol reacts with a carboxylic acid group, functional group, right? So an alcohol group, functional group, reacts with a carboxylic acid functional group. And if you take the example of pterylene, remember in pterylene you had a diol and a dicarboxylic acid. You have to check the compound in which you have both the alcohol and the acid functional group present, which is my compound number F. Because if you take this compound number F and duplicate it, you make the functional groups face each other. So the carboxylic acid functional group should face the OH functional group. This carboxylic acid functional group is going to lose the OH. In the alcohol, the hydrogen is going to be lost to give you H2O, and they're going to make the polyester. If you want me to do it for you, I could do it, but again, it's no use. It's just to revise your concepts, right? So that's my OH, and this is my COO, OH, carbonyl carbon, OH, and then you just duplicate it for yourself. So if I duplicate this for all of you guys, let me show you how it makes the polyester, right? So the carboxylic acid functional group loses the OH and the alcohol loses the H. So once this OH is lost and this H is lost, obviously the condensation reaction is going to take place, and you're going to get like your polyester, because this is the ester linkage that forms right here. But who cares, right? So that's which compound was this? This was compound F. And then in the end, state which two compounds in aqueous solution turns blue litmus red. If it turns the blue litmus red, it must be acidic. So it must have the acid functional group in it. So which two compounds? Obviously, it's your F, because it has the acid functional group, and it's your compound C. So it's F and C. So that's how you need to go about these questions, right? Very easy, very simple. I'll be uploading more of these questions to my YouTube channel, which is Carboxyl Chem, and you guys can tune in and watch how we easily dissect all of these questions. Okay? So this is a quick revision for your organic chemistry. It's very good to do these drawing questions in which you have a lot of compounds given, because this actually really tests your critical thinking, your concepts from organic chemistry, right? So there are a lot of questions like these in your worksheet, which is obviously the complete organic chemistry worksheet that we very carefully curated just for you guys. So keep on watching, keep on enjoying these classes, and see you guys in the next bit. Bye bye, ciao, Allah Hafiz. And I might take a marathon session, because I don't think one day before the paper I should be taking marathons and solving questions with you guys. Rather, what you guys should be doing is you guys should be revising all the key core concepts of your entire syllabus, and you should be doing 1 or 2 questions of each past paper, of each chapter, right? That's it. See you guys in the next shot. Bye bye, ciao, Allah Hafiz.